Greetings viewers and subscribers. So in our journey today, we are going to pick up where we left off yesterday. We are still in Kingston. We are heading back to the country. Sit back, relax, and drive with me. Now, you have seen the thumbnail. The thumbnail said, the foolishness starts. To tell you the truth, we were planning on using another word. Begins with F and ends with Y. Foolishness wasn't the F word we were planning on using, but we want to keep this channel respectful. But I must say, the F-ray has started. We brought you a story yesterday, but before we go there, Miss Sherieka Gordon, she was taken out at her gate. We reported yesterday that the target of this attack was her boyfriend, Matthew. We have been getting some information as to why Matthew was targeted. Our information is that Matthew, he is a car dealer. He carrying vehicle from Japan for people. It is said, and we are learning, that Matthew, he is currently before the Hanover Parish Court on a charge of fraudulent conversion. It is also said that he is in the Montego Bay Civil Court, where persons are allegedly suing him for money that they had given to him to carry in vehicles for them. We are also told that a gentleman in Hanover, separate from the cases that he is now before the court on, this gentleman in Hanover, he gave Matthew over $5 million to carry in a high-end vehicle for him. Up until now, the person have not yet received the vehicle. It is said that when pressure start mounting, Matthew gave him back over $1 million. So he's still outstanding over $3 million. Some folks who he took money from and have not delivered, it is said that one of them might have orchestrated the attack. And Sherieka, who was not involved in anything, she didn't take any money from nobody. She did not promise to import cars for nobody. She met her demise during this attack. Matthew, the last update we have is that he was still in a hospital being treated. We are hoping that he survived, and we are also hoping that he is able to make amends with these people who are determined to take him out. Now, in the next story, this one, it took place along the Chester Castle Main Road. It took place just yesterday, Wednesday, the 28th of July 2021, about some minutes after 1 p.m. Our information is that a lady, her name is Miss Palma Billings. She's from Sandy Bay in the parish of Hanover. Now, Miss Billings, she was the passenger in a Mitsubishi Lancer motorcar. This motorcar was being driven by a man named Mr. Otis Guthrie. Both of them were traveling along the Chester Castle Main Road. They were heading towards Montego Bay. A white and orange Isuzu motor truck was traveling in the opposite direction. This truck is owned by the Golabs of 3 Miles River. In fact, it was being driven by one of the Golabs. Now, our information is that the driver of the Mitsubishi Lancer motorcar, he failed to keep to his left. As a result, the car went into the path of the motor truck being driven by Mr. Golab. As a result, there was a head-on collision. At the end of it, both Miss Billings and Mr. Guthrie, they were seriously injured. They were taken to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where Miss Billings, she was pronounced DEAD, whilst Mr. Guthrie, he was admitted in a very serious condition. The driver for the motor truck, Mr. Golab, our information is that he received minor injuries. Both motor vehicles were extensively damaged. In the next story, no, this one, it took place at Crawford Street in the Mount Salem police area in the parish of St. James. Crawford Street is a part of the Zozo that is in Montego Bay. The Zozo is in place for a reason, because of warring factions in the area. Our information is that on Tuesday, the 27th of July 2021, sometime after 10 o'clock, a man, he's popularly known as Lyle, Lyle, he was walking along the roadway at Crawford Street in the parish of St. James when we are told that he was approached by a lone gunman. This man, he brandished a gun and opened fire at Lyle. As a result, he was shot in his left thigh. The hoodlum then made good his escape on foot in the area. Lyle, he was rushed to a nearby hospital where he has been admitted for treatment. These guys, they don't care where you are. A Zozo is in effect in this area. Lots of police, lots of soldiers on the ground. But this hoodlum was still able to target one of his enemies, and I am sure he was not shooting for foot. The mayhem. Now in this next story, we brought you a story yesterday. In fact, we have been bringing you stories. Yesterday we concluded our video by saying that the law-abiding residents in Cave and Aldeer in Westmoreland, they were on edge. We made a mistake. It's not the residents of Cave, it's the residents of Kentucky. For those who know that area, Cave is the lower section. Kentucky is the upper section up in the hills. The guy who we have been talking about, the one who has been attacked by Moses on more than one occasion, he lives at Kentucky. So, he has been named as a person of interest in the attack on Mr. Sheldon Kilburn. Like we told you yesterday, it is believed that this shooting is a reprisal to the taking out of Chargy. We had carried the story that Chargy, he had picked up this man that we are talking about. He was coming from court and he was heading in the hills with him when Moses and his crew opened fire on this man and Chargy. The man escaped, but Chargy, he was hit and taken out. Now, here is what we are learning. Our information is that the black factory owned by Mr. Kilburn, there are some guys working there who are from Aldeer. It is believed that the guy who was attacked on the bike with Chargy, he's of the view that the phone call was made from over the black factory, informing Moses and his crew that he was on his way up in the hills. That is one of the theory that is being bandied about. So, it is said that this guy or persons associated with him went to the black factory to take out anybody who is from Aldeer. Sheldon, like we said yesterday, was operating his forklift. He was taken out. The other guys who were at the black factory, they saw when the bike entered the black factory and they ran away. At the end of yesterday's video, we said to you that this now got done for now. We recorded yesterday's video Tuesday night, minutes after 10 p.m. Whilst we were in the process of editing the video, we started getting information that there were some attacks at Kentucky in the parish of Westmoreland. These attacks were reprisal for the taking out of Sheldon. The first attack, we are told, it took place about 10:45 p.m. Tuesday, the 27th of July 2021. Our information is that a man, he was inside of his house at Kentucky in the parish of Westmoreland. He was in his house with his wife when we are told that he heard loud explosions on the outside of his house. This man, luckily, he is a licensed firearm holder, so he pulled his shotgun and the direction where he heard the explosions coming from, he opened fire in that direction. The shooting on the outside subsided. The hoodlums on the outside, they made good their escape. The police were called in, and on the arrival of the police, it was observed that shots were fired from outside because 9mm spent shells were recovered from the scene. The hoodlums who fired from outside, they caused damage to a front window and a dresser in this man's house. That is where the bullets hit. Later on, about a few minutes later, about 10 minutes after, the said hoodlums, 2 motor vehicles were parked along the roadway at Kentucky. These hoodlums, they set the 2 motor vehicles on fire. One of them is a Toyota Corolla. It is owned by a man who lives at Kentucky. The other vehicle is a Mazda motor car. This motor car is owned by a carpenter. He was just working in the area and stayed overnight. He lived at Grotto in Darliston in the parish of Westmoreland. He don't have nothing to do with nothing to go on. As a matter of fact, we are told that none of these 2 persons have anything to do with anything that's going on. Where the shooting occurred, the gentleman who was in the house, he is 71 years old. He was in the house with his wife. None of them is involved in anything that is going on with the hoodlums from Kentucky and the hoodlums from Aldir. So, like we were saying, these 2 motor cars, they were set on fire. Persons spotted them setting the cars on fire. They were dressed in dark clothing, wearing hoodie and in masks. It was 3 persons who were involved in both the shooting at the man's house and the setting of fire to these motor cars. It is said that persons saw them throwing Molotov cocktails in the 2 motor cars. They then left the area. So, you see, when I said the every start, you see what I'm talking about? Do you think this is the end of it? Or do you think there will be reprisals? Because if both sides are determined to carry out attacks, remember, Moses is adamant that he want to take out this man, because it is said that the man took out a dressmaker from Aldir. Persons in Aldir are upset over the demise of the dressmaker. In fact, last year, it is said that a young man who was allegedly involved in the attack of the dressmaker, he was taken out. But the other man who was involved, he has been shot at least 3 times by Moses. He was hit in his leg once. He was attacked when he was coming from the station where he had gone to report on condition of bail. And last week, he was coming from court where he had gone to answer another murder charge, where he's charged for taking out a 16-year-old. The police were carrying him home, but he came out of the car at Cave Crossing, went on a bike taxi. When he was heading up the hills, it is reported that Moses and his crew fired at him. He escaped, but charge was taken out. So do you think that's the end of everything? We can hope, we can wish, but we have to face reality. I am not even sure what type of intervention can cauterize what is happening, because until Moses and his crew is held, until the persons who take out Sheldon is held, this not done for now. So if you are here and you are watching our videos, remember to hit on the thumbs up button. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, hit on the subscribe button. Click on the notification bell and click all, so that you will be notified as soon as we have uploaded a new video. And if you have already subscribed and you are not getting the notifications, simply unsubscribe, then subscribe again. So in the final story for today, this one, it took place Tuesday night. Tuesday, the 27th of July 2021, sometime after 11 o'clock. It took place at 135 Darling Street. You know, 135 Darling Street is a community. It's called Grotto. That is where this incident took place. Our information is that a man named Damion Lee, he's popularly called Good Bag. He's 35 years old and he lived at Grotto in the parish of Westmoreland. Good Bag, he was at his home when our information is that gunmen kicked open his front door. The hoodlums, they entered the house and sprayed Good Bag with bullets. He was hit in his head and his upper body. The hoodlums, they then made good their escape on foot in the area. The police were called in, and on their arrival, they took Good Bag to the hospital, the Savlamar Hospital, where he was officially pronounced DEAD. Now, when this crime scene was processed, our information is that 11 spent shells, 9mm spent shells, were recovered from the scene. So the hoodlums, they targeted Good Bag, kicked off his door, went inside, sprayed him with bullets, and they ensured that before they left, Good Bag took his last breath. The mayhem continues. Blessed love, everybody.